the Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited. Shalom, brothers and sisters. I'm Elder Ricard of the Gathering of Christ Church. I hope you all are doing fine. Personally, I'm blessed by the best, and his name is Ahia. How are you, brothers and sisters? Well, great. All right. Jumping right in. We have Truman Burst waiting in the wings. Okay. He'll be waiting in the wings so that we can deal with it on that side, the Patreon side of this update. Usually we transition from YouTube into Patreon to let you all know what will be covered on that side. Okay. There's things we can discuss right now freely there. So weekly, we give you an update. That's really a prelude into our Sabbath lesson Saturday, as well as our Hebrew and Bible Academy that's done each Sunday. Now, speaking of the Hebrew and Bible Academy, you've just seen the particular commercial, brothers and sisters. We're going into week 2, tracing the serpent seed, okay? Showing brothers and sisters out there beyond any shadow of a doubt that entities, which were once called gods or fallen angels, run this earth, okay? They oppose all righteousness, and we will identify them. They're not a myth at all. And we're going to go into that with the Bible's narrative to prove that Satan has an actual seed on the earth. Tracing the serpent seed. And we're going to show you exactly how the so-called gods came down and dealt with people, and that led to all the evil in the mingling of genetics happened before the flood, and it led to the flood. That and more. We're going to also go into the folly and the satanic ideology of the flat earth to show you that it's totally false, and give you the East Indian ideology behind the flat earth and why they rolled it out right before introducing the Babylonians in our society, in our mainstream today as immigrants, bringing back that old ancient religion that once confused the world. I'll go into that and more. And some people would like to know, how did we make it? How did other entities or creatures or beings, how did they make it to this side of the flood? Okay? Because there was a lot of activity during Noah's time. We're going to go into that and more, tracing the serpent seed and how they were able to, others, the fallen ones, how they were able to make it to this side of the flood. That and more in the Hebrew and Bible Academy. And I hope you all attend. I mean, it's eye-opening information you cannot find anywhere. We're going to also we're going to touch on the modern day Adam, Eve, and the serpent, because sometimes we lose sight of the Bible's narrative. We think that a lot of things that went on in old time was for back then, not realizing the ideologies that came from the tree of good and evil which plays itself out in real time throughout all generations. We just cannot relate to it. We think the Bible is something ancient and old time. Well, no. The ideologies that are destroying the earth today started from the tree of good and evil. And what brothers and sisters don't know, when a man is operating in the spirit of Adam, okay, where he's following the woman instead of the Most High, okay, when a woman is operating in the spirit of Eve, where she's following an outside voice, okay, an outside voice like the serpent, without first consulting her head, her husband, bringing in an outside ideology to leverage off on the king. Okay? And also the serpent. How do we identify the serpent today? Who hates order, who detests the image of God, which is male and female in perfect order. That and more will we discuss in this academy when it comes to family and marriage, but I digress. So if this interests you, the Ark of the Covenant, portals, all those new lessons and more, identifying the true Pharaoh in ancient times, who history attempted to do what? Sweep under the rug. They wanted us to believe that Ramesses II was the Pharaoh during Moses' time. That's a bold-faced historical lie. There's two lies that we've cleaved on to here in America. That we were in Egypt captivity for 400 years, and on top of that, that Ramesses was the Pharaoh. Two lies that we, even as Israelites, okay, believe. There's a lot of Israelites out there who believe we was in captivity for 400 years, and when there's no history proving that, and that we were under Ramesses. And there's no scripture that proves that. A matter of fact, there's no scripture that says that we were under captivity for 400 years. We were afflicted by the Egyptians 400 years. That's a clear, distinct difference. Starting from the affliction that happened when Abraham went into Egypt. Almost lost his life due to Sarah's beauty. They wanted to kill him. Okay, so we're going to go into that and more in the Hebrew and Bible Academy to make sense of some of this confusion, okay? So I wanted to put that out there. If anything I said so far interests you, first and foremost, we're only in the second week. You don't have to worry about it if you missed it last week. If you enroll, we'll give you the whole lesson with the download so that you can catch up by Sunday. So don't worry about it. You'll have the lesson, the creation of the universe, the news, the impactful news that like none other. Not even the Patreon, and what we go on the Patreon is comparison to the news there. And on top of that, Hebrew 101 with Elder Lawyer. And Elder Lawyer, I know you're out there, so if you want to come in at any time during Patreon, I'll be more than happy to invite you in. Just come in through Skype. Okay, just come in through Skype and let me know you're there, and I'll pull you in with Truman. Okay? So if this interests you, thank you, Elder Dell. Go to historytimes.org, enroll. You don't even have to worry about being there on Sundays, okay? If you have other things to do, know that you have to work the rest of the week, and Saturday and Sunday is the only day you have off. Don't worry about it. Take Sunday off. You don't have to be with us real time. Okay, you'll still have the link to enjoy the academy at your convenient time, at the time of your convenience. So you don't even have to be there to enroll and still get the information. All right, you can enroll, get the information, and if you have other things to do on Sunday, you need what's in this academy. Why? Because that's a place where we're not being censored and are able to operate unhinged with the word of God, okay? Uncensored, right? Okay. I appreciate that. Now, before I go in, let me let you all know that. Hold on. Let me let this person know that I'm actually broadcasting. Please. Thank you. All right. The next thing is they're trying to do all types of things with this technology out there, right? All types of things with this technology. It seems like there's no such thing as what the English call privacy anymore. Privacy, right? Out of nowhere, you can be driving down the road and your phone Wi-Fi cuts on, even though you continually cut the Wi-Fi off. You cut the Wi-Fi, the Bluetooth off, because what? That takes up data, right? So sometimes you cut the Wi-Fi off knowing that you have data to use with your phone no matter where you are. Well, why is your phone operating on the outside of you? It's called what? Tracking. The same thing with your computers and all these other things. And you know what? Hey, and I'm going to tell you right now, brothers and sisters, the Gathering of Christ Church, we have a solution for that too. We have a solution for that too. For those who don't know, one moment. Let me put that there. What do we have here for you? And I'm going to show you right now here. And let me put the link for this in your chat. When you go to the Gathering of Christ Church store, if you were to go to this link right up under you, if you was to go to this store, you can get what we have for the Gathering of Christ Church called lap lock and cell blocks. It's called lap locks and cell blocks. You throw your phone in this, put it in your belt loop or in your pocketbook, and you disappear. So with the technology that's tracking people, and I talked about it the other week about how our sisters don't know that they're being stalked privately online and how they operating online. Well, usually when your Facebook and all that is actually triangulated into one device, someone who's stalking you online can follow you. Okay? So what I have before you is what we call cell blocks. And guess what? It's not no other companies in China and all these other companies. We made these for people. We made these and they're tested. They're leather. Here's one right here. You put your laptop in and you disappear. Your laptop disappears. Okay? And it has GOCC on the bottom. GOCC lap lock. Right? Y'all need these things, okay? You probably don't think so, but you do. We have them. And also cell blocks right here. Cell blocks. You throw your phone up in there, choose your color, and you know what? You disappear. Right? So make sure you go there and take your privacy back by by going there and purchasing it. And we got brothers and sisters on standby who get this stuff shipped out to you within 7 days so that you can lock your life up. Okay? All right. So the other thing we have here that y'all probably didn't know, the calendars are still out there. If you haven't got a Hebrew Bible calendar, you need one to understand the correct time according to Sabbaths. And last but not least, you see our logo here, Gathering of Christ Church. Well, you can have access to that for your laptop. For your laptop, okay? For your laptop. Right? A matter of fact, what's going on here? Oh, there it is. Yeah, there it is. All right. Let me show you. I have one here. Right? Boom. Hope you all can see me clearly. I have one here, as you can see, on my computer. Okay. I have one there on my computer there. Okay. Boom. So if you want to order the Gathering of Christ Church decal for your computer, you can go straight to the store and get that and represent. Represent on your computer. Stick it there. It won't cause any residue when you take it off. But represent. Stick it, just whatever the size of your computers are, you put the inches there and we'll send it to you so you can represent the Gathering of Christ Church anywhere in the world. Now, all right. And again, yeah, you can put files and everything in the bag. Whatever you would like to put in the bag. It's a regular bag. It's very nice. The craftsmanship on it is second to none. The threading as well, and it's 100% leather. And guess what? We wouldn't do less for God's people. Okay. So a lot of you didn't know that we provide a lot of these things. So go to that store and see what the Gathering of Christ Church have to offer to take your privacy back. Yes, it protects from radiation. Any signal, including radiation, it protects from all of that. Whatever you put in that bag is totally radiation protected. Okay? Oh yeah, we do have them for cell phones. You probably did miss that. You probably missed that, brother. Yes, we do have it for cell phones. Let me show you. We have it for cell phones. It's called cell blocks. GOCC. This is the Gathering of Christ Church. We made them, and we have them in bulk so that if you order them, you get them all. You'll get yours almost immediately. Called cell blocks and lap locks. And these are primarily Gathering of Christ Church products. Okay, this is our stuff. Okay, Gathering of Christ Church cell blocks and Gathering of Christ Church lap locks. Okay, cell blocks, and here it is. You can get them in a, believe it or not, you can get them in a pair together cheaper that way. Okay, by pairing the bag with the cell phone, you get it cheaper instead of purchasing these separately. And you can choose your color between brown and black. Okay, I just want to let y'all know, because a lot of y'all don't know, we have a lot to offer you that can help out there when it comes to your privacy. Okay. All right, jumping right in, because I have Truman on standby who's waiting for me. Okay, he called 12 and I told him I'll be on in a few hours, so he's waiting in the wings to answer a few more health questions, because some brothers and sisters don't know that there's actual plants in your own backyard or on the side of the road that can be deemed, well, before the pharmaceuticals began, was deemed medicine. All right. So he's going to talk about that today. The herbal treatments that were here before the modern day corporate pharmaceuticals. He's going to talk about that and answer questions that he couldn't, a few weeks ago when others were asking questions concerning sickness, what to do here, what type of tinctures to use, or whatever the case is. We ran out of time. So we're going to open that up so that you can ask Truman more questions concerning health. He is a herbal doctor, okay? But still, when it comes to all of that, if you have a doctor, we always suggest that you consult your doctor before tinkering with things. You don't want to get something that's actually conflicting with what you're already on. You want to know how to manage it, or whatever the case might be, okay? Now, let me tell you what we're going to discuss on Patreon today. As you can see, the title here is making sense of the confusion. Making sense of the confusion. It seems like every other week there's an event, something going on where the citizens of the earth, people can get no rest. Being inundated with what? That's right, folks. Being inundated with what I would call media trauma. Media trauma. Now, a lot of you may think that because we don't react like most out there concerning a lot of these events, that we're insensitive. But that's not the case at all. A matter of fact, we're in the know. We understand what's going on. And when people are triggered, it doesn't matter what your ideology and what you believe, you're moved into the energy of the machine. You're moved into the energy of the machine, and now you are a part of their programming. You are a part of their Hegelian dialectic. And through your outrage, inadvertently, they will use that to implement things, laws against you. So that's why you won't see us deal with some of those outrages. And I'm going to talk about it on the other side. And another reason, if you've been following the Gathering of Christ Church for a while, you will know that I stated about 6 years ago, when the thing happened with the children and all that, and the Super Bowl and all that stuff happened, and the whole world was talking about what happened with the Sandy thing and all that, right? And I said years ago, look at the laws that are being implemented. And I also said, hey, it's not over. Eventually, there will be a black one at the end, like there was a white one. Okay? So the reason why I don't dive into that is because the scriptures taught me to know better. And what do I mean by that? You have to make sense of the confusion. You have to make sense of the confusion and not get triggered emotionally. Because you don't even know what really happened. You don't know. But this is what we do know. I got the pseudepigraph of the Old Testament to tell those who believe in God what we should be focusing on at the very end of the Jubilee before Christ's return. Okay? I told people 5-7 years ago, certain laws and all that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be talking about that on Patreon today. Some of the things I've discussed years ago, and because people are so fickle and they just went through this thing 2 years being shut down and no telling what psychological impact that's going to have on people long term. People just forgot what was told to them years ago. So this is what those who believe in God and understand prophecy, this is how we view things. And we don't get caught up in the hysteria media uses. This is why. I'm sitting here with 2nd Baruch, the 27th chapter. And let me read this. And what I did for you, what I've done for you, I've taken a picture out of the book so you can read what I know and understand what I know. Now, the validity of these books and all that has been proven time and time again. And I'm going to go over it again because Baruch is a prophet that's actually spoken about in the Bible. And in the Apocrypha, it has the 1st Baruch. Well, there's more books of Baruch. And the Most High showed Moses the end and what was to come. And he also showed Baruch, okay, and the prophets. So in 2nd Baruch, the 27th chapter, it reads, brothers and sisters, and follow me good. Either you're under the frequency or the guidance to view prophecy like God intended, or you're being controlled by the waves That's right. The frequency from the prince of the air, the ruler of this world. So we're not triggered when they put stuff out there on the media. That means you're looking the wrong way. Okay? Let me read this. I'm in Baruch 27:1. And he answered and said unto me, into 12 parts is time divided, and each of them is reserved for that which is appointed for it. In the first part there shall be the what? The beginning of commotions. In the second part there shall be the slaying of the great ones. Like you've seen, Christ was slain, Malcolm was slain, Martin was slain, and Martin was slain right after a speech he did saying that, listen, it's about time that America cuts the check. No fake outrage that would lead to other people getting funded. It's time to address the people and repair the people who've built the country. That's when he got killed. He didn't get killed for "I have a dream" speech. The liberal push, the liberal misdirection they would have us believe Martin Luther King believed before he passed, before he was killed. And in the second part, there shall be slaying of the great ones. In the third part, the fall of many by death. You're going to hear about numbers. This many people dying, that many people dying. And that's because some of them have fell for the what? They have failed for the propaganda. And in the fourth part, the sending of the sword. Let me go over to the next prophecy. The next prophecy. And in the fifth part, famine and the withholding of rain. That's right. That's right, brothers and sisters. You got it. Weather manipulation to stop rain in certain areas, as well as famine. You'll hear food shortages. And while everyone is up into these historians of events, they're missing the big picture. And in the sixth part, earthquakes and terrors. And in the eighth part, a multitude of specters and shadim. That means sorcerers, witchcrafts. Wizards are incentivized to do what? Conjure spirits to attack the population. Like your imams, your Dalai Lamas, your popes. Like some of the warlocks they got coming over here from East India, setting up pagan temples. They're coming from Asia, setting up the dragon temples. And in the 10th part, rapine and much oppression. Now listen, here's the part that I want to go into. And in the 12th part, confusion from the mingling together all of these things aforesaid. The people would get distracted to the point of confusion, and that's what the media is doing to people. They're confused. I'm not confused. I can see clearly, and that's why I'm not triggered when they put things out there. It says right here, for some shall leave out some of their own and receive in their stead, and others some complete their own and that of others, and that those may not understand. Listen to it. It's talking about the people who can't see. So that those may not understand who are upon the earth in those days, that this is the consummation of times. So 2 parts going to come in and then they'll fade out. Then another 2 parts will come in. You hear about earthquakes and rain and the lack of rain one day. Then you hear about food shortages and gas prices another day. You'll hear about shootings and all these things another day. To confuse the people. Now, if you want to know what we know concerning all of this, I'm going to talk about that over in Patreon outright. See, and there's the biblical aspect, and there's also the historical framework, the historical aspect for those who have studied history correctly. To understand how powerful government use media. And they have the right to do so. That's not my business. That's what they do. They can knock themselves out. Okay? But those who are seeking to understand according to the Bible are able to operate outside of their emotion. Okay? To see the big picture. This is what I do know. And after this, we can segue over into Patreon. For those who understand history, all right, or don't understand history, let me give you a framework to where we are right now and why there's so much misdirection and confusion out there when it comes to our people, God's people, the children of Israel, the blacks in the community. This system, the world's power is predicated on the oppression and the suppression of the children of Israel throughout the earth. And really, that's what the media does. The media does everything to keep their power structure in place. So don't ever believe that if something happens to us, okay, that there's some outright sympathy from the same power structure that has been destroying us. History is what? History is clear on what their true intentions are. So here's a classroom lesson for those who don't know the history. So you can actually quantify when you see the news and understand the objectives and the agendas on either side against you, regardless of what the actual story says. The FBI sets goals for COINTELPRO. For those who don't know what COINTELPRO is, I'm going to talk about that more so on the other side, but in a nutshell, let's read it. This was in the 60s under J. Edgar Hoover. They created a counterintelligence program called COINTELPRO, and it was aimed at investigating and disrupting, investigating and disrupting, I'm right here, folks, dissident political groups within the United States in the 1960s. COINTELPRO targets frequently included civil rights activists, both those who espoused nonviolence like Martin Luther King and those that Hoover referred as black nationalist hate groups, like the Black Panthers. This document outlines the program goals in attempting to limit effectiveness of such groups. In practice, the FBI used infiltration, legal harassment, disinformation, and sometimes extra-legal intimidation and violence against King, the Panthers, and the other activist groups in the attempt to discredit or disrupt them. Goals. History lesson. Open your eyes, open your ears. For maximum, now this is from an actual document, folks. That has become declassified. You can look it up yourself. Goals. For maximum effectiveness of counterintelligence programs and to prevent wasted effort, long-range goals are being set. So they were setting something up in the 60s that would have a long-lasting effect even till our present time. To do what? Number one, And listen to this and listen to this good. Prevent the coalition of militant black nationalist groups. And that's why I tell brothers out there, y'all not to be going out there, anybody talking about arming yourselves and all that. No. Be wise as serpents, harmless as doves. And what you have to do is you have to be like Christ. You have to be like Christ. As much life within you, be at peace with all men, because they're going to try to use that as a political tool to demonize you. Prevent the coalition of militant black nationalist groups. In unity, there is strength. A truism that is no less valid for all its tryness. An effective coalition of black nationalist groups might be the first step towards what? Real Mawa Black Revolutionary Army in America. The beginning of true black revolution. This is what they feared and this is what they put in place. Now, anyone that understands Christ, they would know that you cannot join or try to overthrow government and all that. That's ridiculous. The Most High put the government in place, that they would rule according to the time permitted to them by him. But still, it won't stop them from putting things in place, right? So the first thing J. Edgar Hoover said is we have to prevent them from coming together in fear that they might do what we would do if we were them. See, but we don't think like them. Okay? But they know that if their race as a whole was treated like we were in this country, and they had the opportunity of full freedom and power to seek vengeance, they would do so. But we're not like that. But because that's how they think, okay, they're putting it in place. Now I need y'all to check out this and this one in particular. 2, prevent the rise of a Messiah amongst their people. Prevent the rise of a Messiah who could unify and electrify the militant black nationalist movement. Then it says in the literature, Malcolm X might have been such a Messiah. This is what they wrote in their papers, folks. Malcolm X might have been such a Messiah because Malcolm had charisma. He is the martyr of the movement today. Martin Luther King, Stokely Carmichael, and Elijah Muhammad all aspire to this position. Elijah Muhammad is less of a threat because of his age. See, and the ministers of Elijah Muhammad knew that if once Elijah Muhammad passed, by default, the majority of the people would follow Malcolm X. Okay? And keep in mind, all due respect to Farrakhan, they weren't worried about him. Elijah Muhammad is less of a threat because of his age. King could be a very real contender for this position should he abandon his supposed obedience to white liberal doctrines. And I want to highlight it right there. Martin Luther King will be a threat if he abandoned the control of the white liberal doctrines that's right, connected with his movement. So they was watching him clearly on whether or not he could be controlled by white liberal, that's right, ideology and agenda. And once he cast that off and said, no, nix that, you all are financing the peasants over in Europe and giving them land over here as immigrants. When our people built the country, cut the check. When he made that speech, it was over for him. So this is what y'all need to understand. Y'all need to find out what they stated in this particular white paper and this particular, I would say, communication letter They were in fear of a black Messiah, and they were in fear of us disconnecting ourselves from white liberal doctrines. Now, you do the research on what these white liberal doctrines are, and then look at these events and news stories that are out there. And then you'll begin to understand instead of getting triggered. Okay? Instead of getting triggered and being moved by if they can trigger your emotions, folks, they got you. They have you. Now, that's all I can say. Follow the prophecies and the signs that the Most High is saying that we should look at, and stop being moved by every event and every news story that's coming out there to take your eyeballs off the prize. The prize is the kingdom of heaven. The prize is not these little things they're putting out there and so that laws can be passed and how these laws are going to benefit us. Whatever the case is, stop getting triggered. I said almost 5 to 7 years ago that this was going to happen again. Okay? So that's all I can say because I'm past my time. I have Truman Burst on the side, and I got a little video I need to show everyone after 30 minutes of talking to Truman Burst. Then after that, I'm opening up the calls and we're going to talk about this. Because you don't even realize, folks, the majority of people don't even realize that they're getting tossed mentally through these psych jobs out there. They're following every story, and the story changes over and over again. And it all leads to one or two things. What are they fermenting here? Blacks against whites, whites against blacks. That's the narrative over and over and over again. Nation against nation is what they're fermenting, because what they're trying to prepare for eventually, they're going to actually stoke this is a civil war. And they're going to use this as the Hegelian dialectic to now do what? Do everything they would like to do. Get people who have arms to protect their family and out of that. Get that out of the way so that they can't protect themselves. You can no longer read the Bible. There'll be no place to read the Bible. They're bringing in all these people from all these different places and different ideologies to do what? To destroy it inwardly so that they can bring forth a new world order. And they're doing it one event, one story at a time. And you have the people ignorant to what God says, falling for it over and over and over again. Three or 4 weeks, we're going to forget about this. It's going to be another psych job on the people. All the way to the point where eventually, who knows? It could be another shutdown again. And now people are going to be thinking about that. And what happened these last couple of weeks, it's going to be a distant memory. Keep your eye on the ball. The information I've showed to you the history that I've just showed you is their true intent, to stop the children of Israel from ever understanding what's due us. That's it. And every time we fall for whatever they talk about, you have to realize the people who are over these organizations aren't us. They're not our people. They are to keep their power structure in place. So if they got to pull on our heartstrings by using us, thinking that we're just one big Negro with no sense, they'll keep doing it. Oh, the children. Oh, my God. Oh, my. Listen, follow the prophecy. Follow the understanding. Our children are being destroyed, and there's no news out there on that on a daily basis. And the greatest destruction is doing what? That's right. Pushing agendas to keep our men and women apart. That's the most heinous crime you can do to children, is breaking family up. and leaving them exposed to this world to be adopted by all these freaks and all these evildoers out there. Creating systematic, folks, mental illness. Children growing up with dysfunction because these are the children Satan can use as adults. Wake up. Wake up. Stop falling for what? Yeah, the swinging pendulum. And stop getting angry and operate. And don't forget, this is political anger. To show that so that they can see who Satan still has control over. That's all I can say here. As you know, y'all see those fires there. Patreon today will be just that. We're going to have 15, 20 minutes of Truman Burst coming in, giving us some tips on what to do naturally, seeing that the whole healthcare thing have been maneuvered and moved, where doctors and all that may be out of the way, and you'll be talking to your phone or computer soon for medication. So it's about time when stuff break out, you're going to have to know what to find on the side of the road that can fix what's broke in you. Especially if you decide not to get the mark of the beast. And without the mark of the beast, you're outside the grid and you're going to have to fend for your own. No hospital care, no medication, no nothing. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about using the scriptures and the prophecies and history to understand how to prepare according to God. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time. Keep your eye off the pendulum and on to the prophecies. And I see those prophecies, those 12 parts, and I know what God said to see. And one of those 12 parts is what? The confusion of all of them mingled. And if you're caught up in any of these stories, you're caught up into what? The confusion. Period. Now, I got a video to show on Patreon today that I'm going to discuss a little bit of it, and it's going to blow you all away because they thought we all forgot what happened about in 2012 and all that. And I'm going to talk about that because people are fickle. See? In order to deal with this Bible, and even before I knew the truth, folks, I was an Advent admirer, an Advent stickler for history. So you can't, my eye's not going to be off the ball. I understand history. I understand political history and I understand biblical history. So I know when they're trying to make us look another way while doing something else. And I'm telling our people over and over again, like I said, when everything shut down, I said, listen, keep your eyes on this channel. Follow what we say according to the Bible and live. Okay? Period. There's things being planned that you have no idea. And if you agree with some of the, what you would call outrage, they'll use that for their Hegelian dialectic solution. And because you were in the rage, now you are in agreement with whatever solution they come up with. But then you're going to be complaining about that because really, that really was the real purpose for the story. Right? With that, I'm going to say I love you, brothers and sisters. Stay prayed up. We're going into the Sabbath. And yes, you're going to see a presence of the Gathering of Christ Church all over the world in all white. Brand new garments we're getting made for our for those who would walk and deal with the doctrine of Christ, baptizing all over the world throughout the four corners of the earth. You're about to see our presence in major cities all over the earth before things shut down. Okay? And then we'll do mass baptisms. And at that point, hey, who knows where this goes? But I'm willing and I'm here and grateful. I'm grateful to be here to see where it goes. Keep your eyes open. Stay woke. Stay woke. Stay prayed up. Sin not. We will soon see Zion. Okay? Don't fall for the illusions. Keep your eyes on the prophecies. All right. Let me give you the Patreon. Patreon, A Gathering 144. And if y'all want to know what I'm talking about, I'm going to show you all. I'm going to show you all on Patreon. And then matter of fact, hold on. 1 second, folks. Because I might as well jump right in with this. Hold on. Come on, Truman. Okay, he's not there. I'll tell him I'll bring him on in what? I'll bring you on in 30 minutes, Truman, if you see me out there. And we'll answer questions for that. We'll answer questions. We'll have 30 minutes. So I'm going to show a small little snippet of what people need to see in comparisons to a lot of stories you've been seeing the last couple of weeks. First on Patreon. And then after that, we're going to open up the line with Truman. Ask Truman Burst. Okay? That's right. So, hey, let me put it there again. I'm going right over. Patreon, A Gathering 144, if you really want to know what's going on, folks. Keep your eye on the prophecies. Do not let them trigger your emotions with these stories out there. Keep your eye on God and the Bible. You don't understand the politics of it all. But you know what? Today is where we make sense of the confusion on Patreon. Patreon.com/A Gathering 144. Go there. Shalom. And see you in the academy this Sunday. Go to, that's right, I need y'all to go there, historytimes.org, so that we can go into this serpent who's the mastermind behind all this chaos we're hearing through the news. The serpent. Tracing his seed and his ideology this coming Sunday. Okay. Oh, there go Truman there. Hold on. Yes, Truman.
Yes, sir. There you are.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry about that. I need to show a video to my Patreon members first for about 30 minutes, and then I'll bring you in. Is that good? Is that okay if you can come on 3 o'clock sharp?
I'll come on 3 o'clock sharp. I'll be here, sir.
Okay, and we're going to have an Ask Truman session. And also the people would like to know, just say if everything broke down and they needed to find something on the side of the road in their backyard. Is there something out there that actually can help with certain ailments that's right before us, unbeknownst to ourselves? And if I need you to discuss that first, because that's what the people are coming in to hear. And they also want to hear again, on what can they do to straighten out their metabolisms to get their weight down. Okay.
Got it. I'm ready.
We just want to focus on those two things, because what? They're trying to fatten up our people like turkey. So 3 o'clock,
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. All right. 3 o'clock. I'll pull you in. Okay. But I have to show this video first. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, brother.
My man, Pots and Pans, Dr. Truman Burst. You're looking good, man. You're looking good. All right. Do we have a Patreon in store for you all today? I'll go to Patreon.com/agathering144 so you can understand what's really going on. And let's make sense of this confusion. And keep in mind, last but not least, that the Most High is calling back Israel. Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
The East is where we're from. The 12 tribes of Israel. In 721 BC, the Assyrian king, he took us down, we fell. With the great escape we went through the Euphrates. The Lord held the water still. To a land where no mankind dwelt, we went. The 12 tribes of Israel. That's who we be, Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, and Valley from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Zebulon from Panama, Gad, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans. The highest gathering is Israel.